we all know that Mr. Jadhav needs no introduction amongst us, and he's a journalist with 20 years of experience to his name, and his latest book, Lives on the Edges, just came out, and it's on the tuberculosis and marginalized communities in our society, and deriving from the model that empowerment journalism that we call from Harvesting Hope that he wrote about. It was a second book, Harvesting Hope in the suicide zone, when drought hit Maharashtra was declared suicide zone. Then how farmer suicides were taking place all around, especially in Marathwada and what was the other region? Vidarbha and Marathwada. Then the model that he gave of empowerment journalism, it came out, and I think this book is also an extension of that model to some point, because at the end of the day what you aim to is to inspire and to communicate how they've overcome their differences and challenges as a community. So we'll start with the thing that we were discussing just now, that what is it that you're doing currently these days. You were in Marathwada recently, yesterday only. I think you came back today only? Yesterday you came back yesterday. So what is it that you've been doing there?
Okay, so firstly, facing the camera, my friend Vaibhav has made me acquainted with facing the camera, so I feel comfortable now, because earlier it was very odd to look at this angle, look at that angle and speak, and so it was yeah. So we were just discussing, currently I am working on a book on sugarcane cutters in Maharashtra, especially women sugarcane cutters. In 2016, I was sharing with Prakhar right now. Okay, I'll try to keep answers short, because one of in recent interviews I was talking to someone, BBC Marathi to be more precise, and I got a reaction on Twitter कि आप बहुत बोलते हो, keep it short your answers. So,
but we're here to talk
yeah, so I'll just keep it short. So I'm working on a book on what happens to sugarcane cutters. We are sitting in Western Maharashtra. More than 10 to 12 lakh sugarcane cutters migrate from Marathwada, mostly Marathwada region, to Western Maharashtra. We call it a sugar bowl of the state. Then half of these are women sugarcane cutters. So they are like a bonded laborers. So sugar mills appoint a contractor gives them advance money, and these people are actually dumped in a trolley and they are brought in Western Maharashtra. They are not even aware which sugar mill they are serving for. They don't even know which place they are going. And most importantly, there are many other issues. I'll go back to the story which I wrote. When you talk of woman sugarcane cutter, her life is controlled by society, family and men. In a male chauvinist society, she faces a structural oppression. Means at the age of 13 or 14, she gets married. At the age of 15, 16, she starts producing, I'm deliberately using the word, producing children. Until and unless the family wants to have 4 or 3 or 5, whatever number of sons, she will keep producing children. Once that is over, then family thinks that now she can go for hysterectomy surgery. Now there is an entire nexus. I will not go into the details why these surgeries happen. And then, believe me, the number of hysterectomy surgeries that happen in these regions are much, much higher compared to other districts or other states in India. So her life becomes like a machine, and the aftermath is horrible. Sugar which we have in our sweets has a smell of the sweat and blood, and that's what we need to understand. So that is something I'm working on, collecting the data
right now. For the and I would like to hear that story you were telling about that girl.
So actually it started 2016. So I came across a girl. That story is still online. You can go through the story. In 2016, I was in Jalna district and there was severe drought in the region. And I was just moving around the village and there was a girl was wearing a sari and putting the bangles and everything, and she was getting prepared for some ceremony. When I spoke to her, her sister-in-law came in and she said कि कल उसका शादी है. She was in 7th standard. And what she said next was something which struck me. She said, देखो अभी at the age of 14 she's going to get married. बच्चे हो जाएंगे, फिर ऑपरेशन हो जाएगा, फिर जिंदगी चलता रहता है. That's the life. Okay. At the age of 14 or 15, once your menstrual period starts, you are ready to become mother. That's the life, and produce children and serve your family, work as a machine. So there is no schooling, no dreams, no aspirations, no shining India. Your life is like a bonded laborer. And this is happening to lakhs of girls. The number is in lakhs. We are not even aware of it. So as I said, at least we need to acknowledge their presence. Forget writing and forget discussing. We should know that these people still exist and we need to do something about it. If we are not able to do something about it, at least acknowledge their presence. They are there. In last 50, 60 years, there is not even a proper census of how many sugarcane cutters we have in Maharashtra. So after Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra is the largest sugarcane producer state. This year we surpassed Uttar Pradesh. So we don't even have the number available. So what the political leaders, the sugar mills, sugar barons were doing all these years.
Okay, I mean, I believe and I hope so that from here we'll at least start to acknowledge what we are talking about right now, like since we are sitting in the sugar bowl of countries, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. And like now I would like to take it to the fact that your books, they are well written and they are written in a way that it's not just, you're not talking about just facts or figures or stories, but they take a narrative approach. And like for me at least as a reader, I was quite immersed. And in your second book, Harvesting Hope in the Suicide Zone, you mentioned that your art of storytelling is influenced by your father. Like how did it come to be? I mean, I want to know like what was his influence on you and your art of storytelling.
So, okay, my father was the first graduate in my family. So he started as a farm laborer and then he graduated himself. He became a school teacher. And he used to contribute for Marathi newspapers, and I used to watch. I was talking to his father right now because I know him since my childhood. So we were discussing the same thing. So there was a group of people who used to write to contribute to Marathi newspapers, and I used to witness this. And that's how I thought that we should write about the people who are surrounding us, within whom we are part of their lives, or they are part of our lives rather. So that's how we started. So he was into non-fiction writing, so he wrote a couple of books. So he's farming now. So that time I thought the way media reflects people, media creates culture, media creates science, media creates symbols, and all the signs and symbols and pictures, themes you see in mainstream media are far, far away from almost 80% of people living in this country.
It kind of categorizes things, and you cannot categorize everything up to some extent.
It's like a cultural imperialism, I think. So we got freedom, but we are still not free from cultural imperialism. And this cultural imperialism is being imposed through media. Media is being used as medium to tell people that, okay, this is the culture, this is the language we have defined, and this is the language, culture, ethics, value, whatever. It's a mainstream. That's what we are told, which is not true. And that's why I think that more and more people from diverse backgrounds should be in media, from all communities, from all classes, from all genders. When I say all genders, look at the newsrooms, or look at the way we depict LGBTQ community people in our films. Just try to analyze how we represent them. And if somebody from my family, your family, our friends, relatives are from the community, what they must be feeling. So what we are trying to communicate, right? We are marginalizing them. We are trying to oppress them using these cultural signs and symbols. And that we need to change, I think.
The examples I've recently noticed is that whenever there is a news or some famous person puts something on internet, there is always a headline, and almost every media house is carrying it. Netizens backlash, netizens or people on internet rages like against it. So like they've created this. It is a major contribution of like social media also, but I feel like this is like it has gone to dogs. I mean, for me, especially with the social media, the cultural imperialism that you're talking about. So that's that. I mean,
True, I agree.
right. And also when we talk about this Harvesting Hope book, there is an incident that you write in the introduction about the boy whose father hanged himself, and you met him, and you write there that for me the story ended there, and also after that you say how it is the job of a journalist to be objective and to question the explicit things and imperative which is going on in the current scenario. But given the present scenario, the political scenario, socio-political, even journalistic scenario in the country, there is not much hope left, or I mean, I don't know, I don't see it in the media. At least the mainstream though is gone for me. I mean, but what do you think? What should be the way forward if we are to take corrective actions?
Yeah. See, I have a different point of view. Okay. Every time I say I still work in mainstream media. So I work with the Hindu BusinessLine, which are part of a Hindu group. Okay, many times there are many people who don't know the Hindu group as such. So you go in a place where say I'm from Hindu, so people बोलता है बीजेपी वाला है क्या? Hindu बन के you are. So I used to work with Times of India. अगर आप कॉल करो, and believe me, well-educated people, you call them and say Times of India से बात करो, they saying Bank of India से बात कर रहे हैं. ये कौन सा? So taking the identity, it becomes difficult. Yeah. About the mainstream media. See, again, what I feel, probably you might differ with me, but this is my point of view I want to put forward. Mainstream media, we need to understand how it operates. A newspaper which you buy for 5 rupees, it costs 25 to 30 rupees to print one copy. And the owner is selling it for 5 rupees. How is going to cover up the price? He is running it as a business. Whether we admit, we don't admit, whatever it is, let's be true to ourselves. They are not in for philanthropy. No media house is in for philanthropy to serve society. They are into business. They want to make money, and nothing wrong in that. Doing business, they are not. Again, whether communication is commodity, that is a different question we can debate later. But I certainly feel that as long as there is even a little space in mainstream media, you should protect that space. The moment you decide, okay, I'm not going to continue in mainstream media will continue. But people whom you want to represent, they will lose their space there. So I'm not saying stick to mainstream media. There are many alternatives, but whether it's wrong or right, I don't know. But still, I have a hope. I have a strong feeling that in mainstream media, still there is a space where your editors would like to have good stories. So if you have to win a war, you have to lose some small battles. So 5 stories you are doing, your editor is telling, but then you can always say, I have one story to do, and that you can always do. That is one thing. And as far as political scenario is concerned, I think we should ask this question ourselves as people, we the people. We are living in a post-truth era.
Right. We are
Yeah.
far from it. Far away.
Yeah. So whether we are making decisions, political decisions or individual decisions in our life based on emotions and beliefs, rather on facts, or we are not willing even to look at the facts and we are running after emotions, I think it's a cause for concern. When we are blaming the political leadership or political parties, we should also ask ourselves who are the people who are voting for these politicians. Let us look at the ground reality. So, if I am living in a posh society in Pune, during municipal corporation elections, so-called educated people will ask corporator कि हमारे एक साल का आप केबल का बिल भर दो, इंटरनल रोड्स बना दो सोसाइटी का. Then what questions you are going to raise when your corporator is indulged into corruption? So he's not giving money from his pockets. He is going to bring this, siphon off this money from somewhere else. And again, it's your money, a taxpayer's money. So this is one example I'm giving. So when we talk of political dispensation, I think we need to question ourselves, and we have a lot of answers to give why we are thinking this way, or why we are electing these people at all. What forced people to elect leaders and politicians who are not capable of keeping the social fabric intact, who are creating chaos in the name of caste, creed and religion? Because they are elected people. And once you say they are elected people in democracy, once we have accepted the format, we have a majority and you are going to form the government, are we going to blame people saying that these many people are foolish people? They are then probably. Okay, I'm extending the answer.
No, please carry on, please.
I was talking to one of my communist friend, a senior communist friend in Delhi, and he was blaming people. लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है why people are voting this way, especially after West Bengal elections when left were rooted out in West Bengal. He was saying that people are fool. They don't know. I think this is a wrong notion. People are not fool.
They don't realize they are.
Yes, and I think we need to answer these questions instead of blaming or putting blame or criticizing. I think it's a time to introspect. We as nation, we as people need to introspect a lot what is happening around us.
I have a theory about it. I was thinking about it a few days back. So, using religion, what the political parties are doing, they're somehow convincing people to fulfill their social purposes as a society.
Yeah.
And they're not like, now we are in the age of disinformation, misinformation. There's so much information that you can't make out what is right, what is wrong. And in all of that, we lose sense that there is an individual purpose that we need to follow. As a part of a society, we are an individual at the very basic level.
Yeah.
So, you be it religion or caste or creed or in the name of society and everything, we just we stop ourselves at the gates of society, social purposes, and we don't even cross or see beyond there is an individual purpose that we need to follow. Yeah. Do you think that this could be one of the reasons, or maybe a little if we dig down deeper?
See, when we think as an individual, I'm still part of the society.
Right.
I have a status, I have a role to play in society. So socialization is a process which we internalize from a childhood. Yeah. What I think is that we need to reconsider these concepts. Yeah. The way things are going right now, or the way things will go after 2024 elections, I think it's a time that we reconceptualize concepts of religion, ethics, politics, everything. So probably the first question, especially school group pe hum sab log hote hain, and our friends are still in 7th, 8th standard, some of the friends, right? So one of my friends asked, do you believe in religion? First tell me that and then we can debate. तुम भगवान मानते हो कि नहीं? Then उसके बाद discuss. Right? My answer again and again to this question is whether you are a believer, whether you are atheist, what is the thing? Because religion has become a very sensitive issue. So after this shoot, probably बाहर जाके मार खाएंगे. Yeah. If you ask me whether I'm a believer or whether I'm atheist, my answer depends on what is your concept of religion and what is your concept of God. I'm not allowing you to define religion and God for me. And that's what I think we need to focus on.
That's an individual choice you're not getting to make basically at the end of the day.
Because we are living in a society, as I said, we are living in a post-truth society. We are living in herds, right? Whether you are here or whether you are here. But then this is going to destroy the entire fabric. Once we start with us and they, it will escalate. Always there will be people in a group, we will be attacking. There will be XYZ community, XYZ people, XYZ gender, whatever. So as an individual, I think protecting our individuality, we have to believe that we are part of the mass. Yeah, the process of socialization, I think we need to contemplate on it.
The thing that you talk about, that we need to redefine the concepts of individualism and what part an individual plays in the society. But don't you think if it comes to it after 2024 election, like there is a Greek saying, unless a hunter he learns how to write, the story will always glorify the hunter. So don't you think it same could happen after 2024, because it is pretty obvious?
Why 2024? It's already happening.
It is already happening, but it's pretty much done deal after 24.
Yeah. So then it's responsibility of we the people to keep the truth alive. But again, see, truth is perception, right? Facts alive, I would say, instead of truth. So keeping facts intact, keeping facts together, that's how we should take it forward. We should write our own histories. As you said, until and unless you start expressing, you start communicating, and not through social media, I'm saying. Social media is a mess, okay? But it's a powerful medium. But then if we don't know how we are going to use it, or until unless we train people how we are going to use it. So when we come to the last part, I'll discuss what exactly I mean, what this model could be.
Right. All right. So, okay. So I would like to go back a little bit when we were talking about journalism and about the duties of a journalist and to this new book.
Yeah.
So, what I feel is in this book you write about tuberculosis, and it is probably one of the most stigmatized diseases after HIV in India. And as a journalist, while gathering data for the book and talking to people about the stories, do you ever find it difficult to differentiate your part as a journalist and then as a writer during that journey? What the challenge that you have to get over to?
Okay, I'll share something with you. Probably this will answer the question. Okay. So there's a woman called Lata Wagmare, and I was talking to her. So she was 8 months pregnant, and she went for sugarcane cutting. Okay. She delivered a baby, premature baby, and within 6 days after delivery, now this is happening in the sugarcane field. Within 6-7 days, she goes back to sugarcane cutting. She has kept her baby there and she's feeding the baby, and the contractor comes in and says, you have to just fill the trolley. Don't waste time. Even 1 second is important. She leaves the baby there and she runs after that contractor, pick up the bundle of sugarcane. It's 30-35 kg. The trolley is reversing and the baby is crushed under the trolley. Yeah. There's no police complaint, no compensation. The baby is buried. And next thing, the woman is asked कि जो हो गया तो हो गया, आज का काम पूरा करो, otherwise you will have to pay the fine. एक दिन का छुट्टी लेंगे तो. Now, when you meet people, when you discuss this with people, there's other thing. Demonetization ka glorification we have heard a lot, but we don't know what happened into interiors, right? Yeah. So in tribal area, one of the boy in the farm laborer's family, his stomach swelled, okay, and they wanted to take him to the hospital. They went to government hospital, and we know how government hospitals work. They went to a private doctor asked for money. They went to the Malik, the landlord, and landlord said कि cash नहीं है देने के लिए, 100 rupees नहीं है, because cash crunch है, I don't want to give. They went walking around 20-25 kilometers to another town, but then doctor said कि we need to operate, पैसा चाहिए. There was no money. They brought the baby back. And this is 2016, demonetization का time पे. When I was asking this, I was standing on a place, and the old woman, the grandmother of the baby, was telling me कि she was talking in her dialect. I was not able to understand. Yogesh Devre, a student from Ranade Institute, was with me, and he was helping me to understand what she was. So she was saying कि आप यहाँ मत खड़े रहो, थोड़ा सा पीछे हो जाओ, just move back. वहाँ मैंने बोला कि what is the problem? मतलब then she told that when we brought that baby back, and he was 7-8 years old, we kept him here, and right exactly where you are standing, we kept him here, and we always sitting around, and we were waiting for him to die. And he was crying, he was yelling, and we were not able to do anything. We just waited that at least when he die, he will get peace, because we were helpless. Where in the records, where in the history books, death of this boy is going to be recorded? If demonetization was done for national interest, I personally think this one life also has a value, right? So it's difficult for you as a journalist to be objective. I personally believe journalists are not activists. Journalists should put facts together, but then you are also a human being. You believe in some values, we believe some ethics. Yeah. If you want to say कि देश के लिए मर जाना अच्छा है, so there is no value for this innocent life, probably I would disagree with you. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, but what I really wanted just to know is that I know like it's a lot to go through, and again you have to ask. I still want you to take it ahead. Ki, how do you do that? How do you do that? My question is to you, is a personal question. How do you do that?
See, you as a human being have to be sensitive.
No.
Towards,
how do you do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to be sensitive towards people. That is the first thing. It's a precondition to be a journalist is to be sensitive towards people, to step into their shoes. Okay, when you meet these people, it's very difficult for you to switch off and switch on. Okay, so after in Dhule we came back from Nandurbar, we came back and I was writing the story. I think it was 7:30 or something. Early morning I was having a deadline. 9 a.m. I had to send the story, and when I started writing the story, sitting on the computer, and I started crying. I broke down. And my photographer Manda was with me, Manda Deshpande, still worked with Times of India, and I was not able to write anything. I just shut my laptop and I just kept quiet. At 2 a.m. I went to sleep. I was not able to write a single word. Then again I got up at 6 a.m. in the morning and I started writing the story. Without referring notes, I wrote 700 words non-stop. It happened in just 7 minutes. Story was ready. Because it was there in you. Yeah. So yes, as a journalist, it's difficult. It's difficult to balance your personal life, your emotions. Also, personally, I think your words will matter only if your actions back your words. If I'm a drunkard, drinking and walking on the road, and I'm writing about the anti-liquor campaign. Who is going to read, and why people should believe in this? Yeah. So yes, it happens, and my wife and son are sitting here. So especially when we go out, 24/7, I am into getting that. Yeah, probably you miss many points or many moments in your personal life as well, because 24/7 you are
You're somewhere else mentally.
You are not there around. So 100% you're not there. You are not enjoying the ambience around.